In a webinar yesterday, there were good about 200 principals from various schools across the country, uh, colleges, and also a few vice chancellors of the universities. Basically, the head of the education institutes. While talking the teaching skills and improving the teaching standards, I threw this idea that it is high time for heads of institution to be taught leadership. And I emphasized that leadership is an immense subject. Nowhere it is more important to teach it than at school, colleges, and universities. Catch them young. It's no point selecting few later after graduation or in respective offices, departments they join, and then giving them some courses and teaching them, training them to be leaders. In fact, youth, if they are instilled with this instinct of leaderships early, wherever they go, in any discipline, they'll be effective since it falls on dead ground with the older generation. Therefore, it is better, I feel, to catch them young when it comes to growing a leadership or having better leaders tomorrow. In my earlier talks, I have already spoken while telling about growing leadership, effective leadership. I have also I quoted General Manik Shaw and his views in his talk he gives as regards the academic institution. I won't attempt the infamous intonation, but I am sure the rhythm of the sentences what he said will come through in all my talks. My friend, leadership is an immense subject as I said it. Nowhere it is more important to teach it than at schools, colleges, and universities. In fact, to youth, since it falls on a dead ground, as I said, when the older generation comes to growing, teaching, a leadership, because they developed a fixed idea. The more one thinks about General Manik Shaw's words, his assertions, the more extraordinary it becomes, my friend. Simply because first, of course, there was an almost certainly no overt academic teaching of leadership in those days in school, colleges, in universities. Besides, when he enters the academy, whether it's NDA, OTA, or IMA. But in modern days, the new universities, together with the old centers of commercial relevance, they have introduced leaderships in almost every course. In they sometimes termed as the management studies. Business schools, they are giving greater emphasis on leadership. Though they run the leadership capsules or chapters or papers explicitly and separately. These days, the universities also run against the tide of the general option. If an organization's purpose, my friend, and its future are linked with having a good leaders, it's not only the present leaders who matters. Indeed, training them in leadership may well be little besides the point. As the saying goes, an old dog may learn an odd trick, but it can rarely change its whole act. It's got to be at this stage, from the beginning itself, that leadership introduced in the life of students. We have to look to our leaders of the future. I do not necessarily mean identifying bright individuals, I said, in their late 20s who may make it up to the top of their institutions. And if they stick around for long enough, I mean, creating a climate in which the leadership can flourish rather than be installed or taught by president and the safety belt of the committee decisions. What I'm emphasizing, my friend, when it comes to growing university leaders, after having spoken growing uh, school leaders in school leaders, the only cardinal principle is this: that to prepare the next generation to lead, we got to focus them when they are in schools, colleges, and universities. And that is how we'll be able to grow leaders ab initio and make them a future responsible citizen in any discipline, in any field later on these students join. They'll continue to excel because they are leaders for tomorrow. Thank you very much.